me log into my Facebook.
Sorry, I'm trying to put this.
I know. Understand. Okay. Um, that's the entire page. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna read it. Okay.
Oh, I'm not upload. I'm unrolling.
Um, you ready?
Do I put these on?
Yeah.
Do they do anything?
Yeah, you can hear yourself talk.
It didn't send it into the moment.
Hello. Hey everyone, it's me, Edster Wu on Edster Entertainment. Today is Friday, so hopefully we're having a good end to the week. Yeah. Oh. So today I am here with a special guest, my sister and author Christine Wu. Yeah, so today I'm gonna be asking her some questions about a book she published a few years ago. So let's get on into the interview. Okay. So first, can you tell us about your book and what your book is about?
So my book is called Luna's Heart, and it is about a nymph who falls in love with a human, and she has to live in the human world, um, even though that she is not human herself. So yeah, and she's living with her brother and her two sisters.
And so, how old were you when you wrote the book?
I wrote the book when I was 17, and I published it when I was 17 in high school. And I think I was about either a sophomore or junior when that happened. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So how long did it take you to write Luna's Heart, and what was the process like your creative process, and like what research you did to really give the characters a personality and real life feel to it?
So basically, it took me about a year and a half to fully write the book. And then it took me about a few more months to iron it out and do editing on it. And then basically, my inspiration came from Narcissus and Echo. Echo is a nymph, and she falls in love with Narcissus. And that's why the bad guys in the book are called Narcs, because it took it out of Narcissus. And so basically, I kind of took elements out of what I thought a nymph was based off of the research I did, which is looking up what nymphs are in the media, what nymphs are online, what they have been portrayed to be, and then I kind of added my own elements. For example, nymphs are usually creatures that take people into the forest, kind of like sirens, but in the woods. They're not really. And I kind of made it into my own thing where the mom was a full nymph, and so she used to do that, but since she's only half nymph, she's half human, half nymph, I was able to tweak it in a way where she wasn't doing that. But there was a history of it in her book.
Okay. So what is like one interesting thing you learned while writing your book?
One thing that I learned about writing my book is that you really have to have motivation and you have to want to do it. You can always start something like writing, but it takes a lot of perseverance. So there were times when I got stuck and I had serious writer's block and I just couldn't finish the book the way I wanted it to be. And I would have to take a break. And
So when did you start the book?
I started the book in freshman year, maybe a little bit before freshman year because I had the idea before freshman year, and then I started writing it in freshman year, and then I finished it in sophomore.
So it kind of took a while to like really take all your ideas and put it into the book that you made.
Exactly. I really had to jot down every single idea I had. I had a notebook where I wrote down any thought that I had, any idea that I had, and then I would go through that notebook and comb out all of the ideas that stuck with me that I really wanted to put in there, and then I actually wrote it out later.
Wow, that's so interesting, honestly.
Thank you.
No, that's really cool. So what book do you think like inspired your creative spark? Like what book was the book that made you say, "Oh, I think I'm gonna write a book"? Or did you just like all of a sudden want to write books, or have you always enjoyed writing? Or
I've always enjoyed writing, but I'm gonna be honest here. At the time, Twilight had just gone big, so
the supernatural phase that everyone was in.
exactly. And honestly, it was a big inspiration to me because a lot of the ideas that I had, they didn't come from Twilight, but they gave me the inspiration.
Inspired.
Yeah, they wanted. It's why I picked romance, and it's why I picked paranormal romance, and it's partly why she was kind of like a supernatural living in a human world.
So, what was your schedule like? I know you were in high school, so you were obviously doing work, but what was it like when you were writing? Like, how did you, like, give us a typical writing schedule for you? Because you weren't a full-time author at that point.
Right. So basically, I didn't have a set time where I would sit down and just write. Because honestly, my advice would be that if you do writing, don't just sit there and like designate this one time for writing. Writing should be whenever you really feel the need or urge, to go and write. I did my classes, and in between classes I might have an idea, something that inspired me in real life. So for example, if a person is sitting on a bench and doing this, I might like say, oh, you know what, that's a cool idea, let me spin it into my own vision, and I would quickly like jot it down. And then later on, if I really feel like I want to start writing again and I have that idea and it's just like a picture, because to me it's like a movie in my head. So like if I really wanted to, sit down and just hammer that chapter out, I would go ahead and I would start writing it. And then sometimes I'd go back and rewrite it. And most of the times it's happened on the weekends because I had more time to do that.
Okay, so what would you say is the first step you should take towards writing? Like, what's the first? Do you just like start writing like a short story and expand on it, or would you like just like start writing whatever just comes to mind? Like, do you outline or?
Yes and no. So honestly, the first step I think to anybody writing is to have an idea. So you don't have to have this full-length story right away. It starts off with an idea. So mostly, like I said, I started off with Narcissus and Echo, and I kind of just wrote around it. Little ideas started coming here and there. And then you can start really like fleshing out your idea. So you start filling it with things that make sense to you. So for example, like you start off with a nymph, but then you start building your story, and you're like, well, what does this nymph do? Does she go ahead and does she uh, hang out with humans? Is she kind of alone? Is she what is her story? You know, and then you start filling it with details.
Okay, so that was really interesting because I'm not a writer,
Uh-huh.
so I don't really know a lot about writing and how writers create their works.
Mm.
Um, and so another thing with the writing is
Yeah.
grammar.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Grammar.
so there before there's always been a way of writing, like it was a strict way. How do you feel about authors now when they are do you think writers should be grammar Nazis, or do you think that it should it should be well done but like
Yeah.
free, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've noticed a lot of writings now, people are trying to like, they're not trying to be stuck in that grammatical box.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. Me being a huge bookworm, and I totally review books, so um, I do give a lot of leeway to writers. So, for example, when I'm reviewing a book, yes, I do look at grammar, but I think that the most important thing to writing, and sometimes I'll even let some of like the grammatical errors slide because you can't catch all of them. But one thing that I've really found with writing is that the most important thing is to let your reader feel what you're feeling, to really get in connection with the character. It's
Yeah.
not even about the grammar, because sometimes I've seen a book be like really full of like big words and but I don't feel anything, and honestly the characters just don't
So
move right.
you think character development is like the biggest part, like having characters that are really that act natural, that have a natural flow to it.
Yeah, I think they have to have a real, like a realness to them. And like for example, I'm reading a book right now, and some of you may know it. It's going viral right now, sort of. So it's called The Cruel Prince, and
Never heard of it.
yeah, well, it's actually about the Fae, which is kind of like fairies. But they're not like fairies. It's like the whole, kind of like creatures,
Yes.
in that world. And but basically, her writing is very, very like in depth. There's a lot of, I mean, she doesn't have that many grammatical errors, but here and there I'll see like a letter missing or something. But I can overlook it because the story is so engaging, and that's what I think books need. Like her characters.
So engagement.
Yeah,
You think
engagement.
you want the characters to engage with the reader.
Exactly, and
Okay.
they have to have that like you could tell when it's like a good writer because you won't even notice that you're reading anymore. You don't see words.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not a big reader. I don't really read a lot of books, and I feel like that is one important thing. I have to feel like I'm kind of in the same scenario as everyone else in the book. So,
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how you published your book?
Oh yeah.
Because you didn't go through traditional methods, right?
No, I did try to do a traditional method. So I did, talk to some of the publishers and stuff. But me being a new writer, they didn't, and me being so young, they I got a lot of rejections. I'm not gonna lie. But I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it my own way. And so basically, at that time, I had made a lot of friends, um, in author groups and stuff like that. So I spoke to a lot of authors. I made a lot of connections networking. And so I was even a part of some of the review groups. So I had a lot of people review my book online and after I published it online. So I did self-publishing.
Yeah, you published and then you edited it yourself, right?
Exactly.
And then so you wrote, you edited, and you published it.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I published it
All
through
by
Amazon.
17.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what I would want to touch on something you just said. So
Okay.
you had a lot of people review your book.
Yes. Yes.
Now you have some good reviews mixed in with your bad reviews. They're not all
Yeah.
happy comments.
Yeah.
So do the bad reviews affect the way you write or how your writing style, or does it get to you when, like, do you think of them when you're writing?
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it is hard to kind of like ignore the bad reviews, but I don't think that they're bad reviews. I think they're helpful reviews. So a lot of the times I'll listen to the bad reviews and I'll try to fix the way I'm writing, in the sense where when I was 17, I thought with a 17-year-old mind. And a lot of my reviewers said that. They're like, oh, well, we could tell you're 17. Or we could tell you're young, you know? And so that affected my writing. But it made me better in a way because I was able to catch a lot of the mistakes and a lot of the things and evolve my writing later on.
Okay, so you think that your writing has definitely improved and the bad reviews may have, or the critical comments have helped your writing?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has.
Okay. So one of our viewers is asking, have you done a book signing?
Yes, I have, and I would even be willing to do more of them. I have done some at Diamond Bar High School. I did some at bookshops, a lot of independent ones especially. Those ones were fun.
Do you remember your first book signing?
Yes, I do. It was actually it was in San...
It was in Newport Beach, right?
No, it was close to Newport Beach. It was at
Huntington Beach?
San Marcos? No.
It was in Newport Beach.
Yeah. Oh, no. Mesa.
Oh, it was in Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa, sorry.
I thought.
I'm really bad at, like, destinations.
Okay.
But, yeah, but Costa Mesa, I had a book signing at this little bookshop, and I set it up myself. I printed all these flyers, and I remember I had the destination in mind. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it here. I printed out bookmarks. I even got them professionally printed.
Yep, I remember.
And I even got them professionally cut and everything, and we had set up this date, and I had books sent to my house. It was like incredible because it was like so weird seeing boxes of books just arriving.
And if you want to get a book, they're still on sale on Amazon.com.
Yes.
The book's called Luna's Heart.
And I'm also working on getting them in paperback because right now they are.
Oh, they don't have paperback?
They're ebook right now on Amazon, but I'm gonna be switching it also to paperback.
Yeah, so if you want a paperback,
it's there. It's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what advice do you think? Okay, so give like 3 main tips to a up and coming writer or someone who wants to write a book.
So one thing I will definitely say is that I think you really have to be motivated, like I said, and you just have to be able to, because I think anybody can write, but you have to really want to write. You have to see the story in your head, and I'm not saying like a fleshed out story, but you have to be able to visualize what you want and just sit down and start writing. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't sound good or if you don't like it. I would just start writing and start tying it, because I call it stitching. Um, I stitch together my ideas and I'll start fleshing it out as I write. And that's kind of my style. I don't really like to super plan because then I kind of get OCD with the story and I start overthinking everything. So that's what I would suggest. Just start writing something and start tying those pieces together.
Okay. And sorry, back to the book on sale. How much is it on sale for?
So the ebook goes for, I believe, 99 cents to $1, and the paperback is a little bit more. I can't remember like
The
on
price.
the price, but you'll see it online once you go on the site.
Okay. So what book do you think influenced your life? So not your writing career, your life, because you're a big reader. Like, what was the first book that you actually got into that was like, oh, I like reading, if you remember?
Well, reading has always been a part of my life because my mom used to read me books all the time when I was little. But the first one that I gotta say I really remember getting into, and it was like one of the first books I got, was Lemony Snicket. And you know, the Baudelaire children. It was the Unfortunate Events series. And oh my gosh, that was like the first big series that I read. And after that, Twilight had to be the second most like impactful book in my life. After Twilight, I just started reading all the time.
Okay, so Lemony Snicket.
Yeah,
And
he's a
Twilight.
start. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, had a burp.
It's okay.
So what are some of your hobbies outside of writing?
So outside of writing, I kind of like to do a little bit of everything. And I don't have one thing that I stick to. So I write. As I said, I do a lot of reading. Literally, it's one of my big things that I do mostly every day. And then sometimes I do some art. Sometimes I do other things like.
Do you think those also influence your writing?
Yes, all the time. So, for example, there are scenes in Luna's heart where she'll be doing something like reading, like she reads, or she'll do. Sometimes she'll be acting out in class or doing something, or she'll, and those were all influenced by experiences I've seen or had.
That's cool. Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, these things always give me inspiration.
Do you think, okay, so what's your biggest tip for writer's block? Because I know a lot of people get writer's block.
Yeah.
Like, even me, I don't write, but when I do like something artistic,
Yeah.
I tend to get like a block sometimes. So how do you do it? Do you go to like your leisure activities?
Yeah, so my advice would be to do things. You don't have to do something super special, but I would go to places, look at people, start looking at how they behave, and shape your writing, because that's the way you get more realism.
Yeah, based it on actual human behavior.
Exactly. A lot of my characters, they're not just me, it's people I've interacted with. They're people that I've actually seen, Scenes that I come up with for other books, they're all different, I'll pick out things that I do, so have experiences and you'll get better at your writing.
Okay, so I'm gonna play a song. Okay, one of my favorite songs this week. I hope you like it.
I think I will.
Okay,
I love your music.
So, and then we're gonna talk about some current news.
Okay.
And yeah, okay. So here goes.
Okay.
Oh, the song is Malamente by Rosalia.
Is that the one that you showed me yesterday?
Yeah, that's the one.
I really liked it. So,
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good.
sorry. 1 second. Okay, we're gonna technical difficulties. We're gonna have my sister, the author, talk more about um her book.
Okay. So
Yeah.
basically,
Spotify's just not working. Oh wait. Yeah.
So Luna's Heart is a series, but I'm still working on different parts of the book. But since I'm doing school at the same time, it is hard to write all the time. So I haven't published a lot after Luna's Heart. I am planning to publish more. I do have a lot of books in the works, so I've got a few ideas that I'm really punching out, and so probably either during school or when school ends and I graduate, I'll probably write more. And I have been writing, so there are a lot of plans to publish. So check. I have a Facebook page for my book, so you can check out updates and stuff. And so yeah, and basically I try to write as much as possible. And I think that when you are writing, that's the best thing that you can do. But I do have a lot of plans, as to say like what I really like to write. It's just a lot of different subjects. I don't know.
Okay, you can stop talking about your writing. Okay, so again, this is Malamente by Rosalia.
Every 10 minutes, because the listeners always go in and out. I don't know what's good. I think it might be the internet connection is ass, so it should overload. Oh, sorry, we get to keep it around here. No, it's like if it ever hangs down, like that's. Oh, it's on the exit.
Yeah.
I was putting the wrong one down. I was like, why isn't this working? Yeah, it can kind of beam into it, but if it hangs down for more than like half a second, then it's too loud. Yeah, it's really weird. It got so sensitive. Like this last week, we revamped this thing, and so like we can only bring it up to like there when we used to have it there. So it's a little different. Yeah, and every like 10 minutes, I just plug your name in the book because I feel people be like, oh, like who, like yeah, just keep plugging it. Be like, just in case like you just came on, like this door's so heavy, I almost like died. Okay.
Thank you.
You guys are killing it. It's also good.
Oh, thank you.
The live stream. Okay, do you want to talk about music? I feel like no, she's at the doctor. I'm getting ready. Joshua is. I see you, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about news next. Are you good with that? I
Yeah,
feel like I asked you all the
that's
questions I could on reading.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
What are you gonna talk about first?
First I need to plug this, I think. Oh, and then we're gonna talk about I was thinking of talking about the YouTuber who was abusing her children.
I don't know who that is. Who is it?
Like his mom.
Do you know her name?
Yeah. Michelle.
Oh, Ran Fantastic Adventures.
Oh, wait, you know I love.
Why? Oh.
Okay, so that was Malamente by Rosalia, and now I'm here again with Christine Wu, the author of Luna's Heart.
Yes, that's me.
And we're going to be talking about. Oh, I'm here with author Christine Wu of Luna's Heart, and we're going to be talking about some news in the pop culture world. Okay, so first, and then we're going to get like opinions. First, an Arizona woman by the name of Michelle Hackney was arrested and charged with child abuse, molestation, child neglect, and unlawful imprisonment of her 7 children. They ran a YouTube channel called Fantastic Adventures, and the videos were scripted and starred her children and other adults, usually with like a superhero theme or Nerf battles. So she would abuse them if they didn't want to perform on camera.
Wow.
Yeah, so what do you think of that?
That is crazy, honestly. That's kind of scary because I feel like YouTube is kind of like our next TV kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like these people, they do anything to get like the money or like the fame, you know? So yeah, she was tipped off by her oldest adult daughter. Well, I don't know if it's her oldest, it's an adult daughter.
No.
And yeah, and they found that there were children between the ages of 3 and 15 years old, and they appeared to be malnourished. They had dark rings under their eyes and really pale skin.
Oh my god.
I know, and this isn't the first case like this I've heard of. There's a lot of different like YouTube channels with people who do the craziest things to get that recognition.
Yeah, I remember like a few, maybe about a year or 2 ago, another YouTube family, they had kind of like a vlog channel,
Mhm.
and they got their kids taken away because,
Yeah, I remember that.
remember?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that one was a
Oh,
weird one.
do you want to say
because-
why they got their kids taken?
Oh, so basically the kids were being abused, and they were being like physically abused and everything, and they were doing it on camera, and they were getting away with it, but then and then they got caught finally, and
Mhm.
the kids came out about it.
I remember. Yeah. And okay, so we all know about the skating beef between Tanya Harding and her competitor. I forgot her competitor's name. Okay, but there is more beef in the skate world between Mariah Bell, a 22-year-old skater, and her 16-year-old opponent, Korean skater Lim Yoon Soo. So apparently it's not as bad as the Tanya Harding situation, but according to an official from All That Sports who witnessed the collision, they say that Yoon Soo was
That hurt.
totally. I think, but what do you think? Do you think like these people are too competitive, or I think they're way too competitive. Like, you know, we get it. You like the sport and you want to be the top, but if you don't have the talent to show it, don't like go for someone who might get that spot from you. You know?
Yeah, and I think like coaches and parents, they just make the situation worse because a lot of times they're really pushing their kids hard, you know, to continue with the sport, to be really competitive, you know,
Yeah.
not even just them, right?
Yeah, and I think all these, and again, I think all these young athletes, I don't think it's just them. I think it's the people who are pushing them, and I get they want to be like they want to get to the top, but I think if you have the talent, you should be able to get to the top without hurting others or cheating. You know.
Right. And you did gymnastics for a really long time.
Yeah,
so
and it's really competitive. Everyone basically wants to be the best of the best, but
yeah,
if you're not the best of the best, you're not the best of the best, you know?
yeah.
Work
so-
harder, train harder. And I know they're already training a lot, because I know I was in, like, not even real gymnastics. Well, I was.
Well, you were in a
but
team.
I was
You
on
were-
a
you were
team,
doing
but
competitive.
it,
you know.
I was working out a lot. Imagine, like, these people who do it as, like, they basically live for it, you know. So yeah. So speaking of getting to the top, Kylie Jenner has been in the news, and she's defending her title of self-made billionaire.
Wow.
Yeah. So a while back, maybe a few weeks ago, um, I think Forbes named her a self-made billionaire, or like the, yeah, a s- and she's saying that the fortune is made entirely on her own. That she has not been given money from her family since she was 15, and she did have the platform
Uh-huh.
from the TV show that her family has, but for the last 6 years she's been financially independent. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, she says, uh, here's a quote from her. I am a special case because before I started Kylie Cosmetics, I had a huge platform and lots of fans. I did not get money from my parents past the age of 15. I used 100% of my own money to start the company. Not a dime in my bank account is inherited, and I am very proud of that. Do you think she's a self-made billionaire?
Honestly, I think if you do a business, props to you, and I think that if she did make $1 billion, I would be proud of that too, and I wouldn't want somebody trying to take that title away.
But what do you think of the title self-made? Do you think she's really self-made, or do you think her family handed it to her?
I don't think her family handed it to her, but I think that maybe her associations with people could have,
Enhanced it. So like how she
enhanced
said
it.
she had the platform.
Exactly, because I mean, it would have been a lot harder to start your business if you were just some random.
But
nobody.
someone who's like unknown, like Mark Zuckerberg, he wasn't like a known person. And
Exactly.
so he's like a literal self-made billionaire, I guess.
Yeah, he literally. I mean, if you hear his story, he literally was a nobody. People didn't like him. People didn't want him, and he really had to do, fight for what he wanted. He had to build his name.
Yeah.
And his company.
So I guess she had the name Jenner, but I guess she did make all her money herself, and she was working. I guess she was doing the TV show,
Right.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and she was a little girl, so she was probably getting paid from that. So that money probably was the money that got invested into her company, and she does get paid a lot for like Instagram posts and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of sponsored Instagram posts and Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian has been, let's say, criticized.
Really?
Yeah, so she was sponsored by Flat Tummy Co.'s meal replacement shakes, and she posted a picture, and it said, the caption said, "Love how my tummy looks right now, you guys." Then you flashing her upper stomach, so she had like her stomach showing.
Yeah.
I bought Flat Tummy Co.'s meal replacement shakes into my routine about 2 weeks ago, and the progress is undeniable. So some commenters had some comments. One person said, "Young girls look up to Khloe and respect her opinions, and she doesn't need flat tummy money. There is no need for this." Someone else said, "Love everything about the pic except the message. So damaging for young girls looking up to you." And the comment that was the biggest was from actually an actress from The Good Place, Jamil. She claims that the Kardashian is hurting her fans by being fixated on her looks, and that the Kardashian was being dishonest, claiming that the shakes were responsible for her toned body. Some of the things she says was, "If you're too irresponsible to own up to the fact, if you're too irresponsible to," and then she listed facts. One of them being that She has a personal trainer, a nutritionist, probably a chef,
Yeah.
and a surgeon to achieve that body aesthetics.
Oh.
And tell she and then she goes on to say that Kardashian isn't telling them of the side effects of the non FDA approved product.
Oh, see, and
Yeah,
there's the catch, you
like
know?
yes, some of the side effects are like cramping, stomach pains, diarrhea, dehydration. Yeah, and then she continues saying it's incredibly awful that this industry bullied you until you became this fixated on your appearance. That's the media's fault, but now please don't put that back into the world and hurt other girls the way you've been hurt. You're a smart woman. Be smarter than this. What do you think about Khloe Kardashian promoting the flat tummy shakes?
Well, I think that it's kind of. I agree with these commenters because I think that her being this famous person, I mean, yes, I get it. Ads are always going to try to gimmick you into buying something by using celebrities, but I think being a celebrity is more than just being famous and going on these ads and
Yeah.
TV shows. You know, you gotta be responsible too, you know?
Because a lot of, even if you don't want that responsibility, I feel like it's gonna inevitably come with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get these people looking up to you.
Mhm.
And I agree with Jamila Jamil where she says that Khloe Kardashian was bullied based on her looks, and so she got all this stuff done, and she's worked to get this look that she likes. But is she encouraging other girls to do
Especially
it?
if she's trying to hurt people in a sense. Maybe, like you said, it's, you know, innocently done in the sense where
But
she's not, she's,
If
you know,
people
not,
know it's an ad, is it still wrong?
well, I think that yes and no. Like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of your fault too for buying into it. I mean, but sometimes, you know, especially if it's somebody that you like, you're like, you know what? I'll go out on a limb just for the fact that it's an actress that I kind of like trust, you know. Because some of these girls, they're young, you know. They're not,
Yeah.
they don't have their, you know, because you know they don't have that good decision making
Mhm.
skills, you know. Not yet, you know. They're building on that still, and some of these girls are kids too.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And like one commenter said on the live stream, they said, I think
Mhm.
she's doing it for the money. Which is true, she is. I mean, she has, like Jamila Jamil said, she has the nutritionist, she has the personal trainer, she
exactly.
has, and that's stuff normal people don't have, you
Yeah.
know? Not everyone can afford that. But they see, oh, well, she uses the flat tummy shakes now. I think it used to be tea, right?
Yeah, it used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
a shake, and they're like, maybe I can achieve the same thing. So I guess it is wrong in that sense. It's like she she's sending out the wrong message, I think. Instead
Yeah.
of like, eat healthy, let's eat
Mhm.
healthy, let's
Mhm.
she's like, oh, you can use flat tummy tea or shakes.
Yeah, no, and I think like she should be saying things like, you know what, encouraging people to just, you know, do them, you know,
Yeah.
do what you
And
need to do.
but it's like a trend with a lot of these celebrities now. Like,
Even YouTubers.
yeah, they all, and they all have promote these sponsored like flat tummy um products.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
all the time.
and I think especially like YouTubers, I see them because like Khloe Kardashian, she has the money, but these smaller YouTubers or these YouTubers, they're like not big celebrities. Yeah, they
Yeah,
probably make okay money, but do they? And they so when they get these sponsorships, they'll probably take them, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
when you and a lot of these YouTubers that's or a lot of the people I have to say that sponsor the flat tummy products,
Mhm.
they're skinny, you know.
Yeah, but are they doing it the right way? Because, like, you can get skinny, but I think that the most important thing is, like you said, you have to do it the right way, the healthy way. I mean, dehydration, you're gonna
Yes.
get skinny. If you get, you know,
Don't eat, you're gonna get skinny. But is
exactly.
it worth it? I think not because it's better to live a healthy, balanced diet than be skinny using products that aren't even FDA approved, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I think that if you're gonna, and it's not just about being skinny. I think everybody has their own body type. Some people are naturally skinny, and that's okay. And some people are bigger, and that's okay. Not everyone has to fit into the ideal body standards, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's where we're gonna end it off today. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Again, this is Christine Wu, author of Luna's Heart. You can find it on Amazon, and yeah,
And
there's
create space.
and Create Space. Her Instagram is
It is Luna's heart.
yeah. So
Luna's _heart. Yeah. And I also have a Goodreads account. You can find my Goodreads account on goodreads.com. I have an author's account there too, so you can check out any updates or books.
yeah. Maybe she'll come out with some new books soon. We'll see. Keep an eye out on her Goodreads. Again, this is Edster Entertainment. You can follow me on Instagram at EdsterWoo, on YouTube, EdsterWoo, where I live stream these shows.
Like and subscribe.
And yeah, thanks for listening today. I'm so awesome. Oh shoot, I was supposed to. One more thing. You should come to Soundspace. It's Titan Radio's rap show at Program Skate and Sound Thursday, March 28th. The doors open at 6:30 and the event is at 7. The pre-sale tickets are $5 and at the door they're $7. So yeah, go check it out. It should be pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Goodbye for Edster Entertainment. Oh, let's like say something.
You should do Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, I
Wanted to.
don't think so. Wait, where's the play
I want
after?
to take some cute photos of you guys. Oh, that will be in iTunes. So you can just exit out of Safari or whatever this is. Just exit out.
Oh,
Or any iTunes you want to go to. It should just be up. Yeah, you'll see it.
okay.
And then sit back down, put the headphones on. I'm gonna get some cute
Okay.
photos. I was like, your parents will like these. Okay, yes. So get in there. Alright.
Okay, I'll pretend to be
Oh yeah,
talking.
pretend to talk. Look at him and
Okay.
smile.
Hi.
Oh yeah, keep pretending to talk. That's so funny.
How are you doing?
You can actually talk about it. You're like,
I love you.
oh, stop. I'm just getting the different angles.
So,
This is actually really sick.
what are your
shot.
plans for today?
I'm gonna
Oh,
be
okay,
the
Christine,
teacher.
give me a little look. Give me that look. Oh shit, this bitch is ready. Okay, hold on, one more. I'm gonna try flash. Oh, one more with flash. That was so good. Oh, okay. All right. These are so awesome. That's so sick.
Oh,
Thank you for having
And when you
me.
come out, I'll airdrop. No, thank you for coming. And I cannot wait to get Luna's Heart on Amazon. Only 99 cents?
Yeah,
That's
well, that's for
wild.
the ebook.
The
and then
ebook, yeah.
The paperback is a little bit more.
Oh, it should be.
Yeah.
Having that physical copy is so good. I love having the hard copy.
And a lot of people ask me about that because they're like, oh, why is the ebook so much cheaper? And it's just because
it's an internet.
exactly. And you don't have to have like the physical pages of
Yeah.
thing for